Yo, what up, everybody? This is Mario Ybarra Jr., Mario Ybarra Jr., Mario Ybarra Jr., and we're here in Slanguage Studio with Angel SkatanLives
Shout out.
Muro,
Bah. The baby goat.
Bat, the baby goat. That's the greatest of all troubles here with us today. Today's our first day of our Chop It Up podcast,
Chop, chop, chop.
our 2020 edition, starting August 24th, 2020. This is Slanguage 20th year anniversary this month, to be exact. And today, August 24th, is my wife Carla's birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday.
It's also my father, rest in peace, birthday. I have a lot of August 24 people in my life. But today, what we wanted to do is do some introductions. I know I just introduced Angel SkatanLives,
SkatanLives, yeah.
but we're gonna do some intros so y'all could get to know us. So I'm gonna pass the kind of microphone over to Mr. Angel, and he's gonna read something for us. Go ahead, Angel. Take it away.
Hey, what's up? I'm SkatanLive. I was thinking of sharing who I am, but I want to do it with a poem I made. It represents me and my work. It goes like this: SkatanLive, real from the abyss, the dark corner of the mind. Its mastery of the divine, a key to a true meaning in life, a burning desire to elevate the state of mind, a sacred journey given in search of self-understanding, the grace of the vessel that conquers every struggle, the beauty of pain is what brings me to my sanity.
Ooh, let's hear that. Yeah, we get snaps out
A
for the poems.
little poem.
Yeah, so I want to say a poem too to give my bio. My name is Mario, and I'm from the barrio.
Look at this guy.
Is that a Theo joke or what?
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. All right, I'm not as deep as a poet as Mr. SkatanLives here, pero we had some kind of things to go over today. We have a little itinerary. Skaten wanted to read that poem for a bio. My bio is that I'm an artist. I grew up here in the port of Los Angeles, the harbor area of Los Angeles, specifically in a place called Wilmington, California. There are about 10 different Wilmingtons in the country, but there's only one Wilmas. So just take that to heart.
Yeah.
We're here in the heart of the harbor. I grew up here. My studio is here. I'm telling you, I've had my studio here for the past 20 years. And I really enjoyed being an active gang member. I mean, community member here in the neighborhood.
Shout out.
And contributing here. But I'm an artist. I went to art school. I went to graduate school at UC Irvine. I started my studio here, Slanguage Studio, in 2002, so 20 years now. I've exhibited and shown all over, nationally and internationally, and it's been my great pleasure for the past 20 years to kind of facilitate and mentor artists from our community here, young artists. When I say community, my direct community here, but also an extended community out throughout the city and throughout the country. And to kind of help foster and facilitate young artists has been really my pleasure. And the big quote around here is that I facilitate, not play or hate. So if people come through, you try to facilitate their moves and help them grow. Why play or hate? Why be a judge? Like Tupac says, only God could judge me, right?
Life is art. Art is life.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, art is life. Art.
Yep.
That's
Everything we do is it has to be a masterpiece because it comes from the mind first.
Yeah. So, did you want to do anything else with your introduction, Skaten? I know. We should maybe tell people how we met each other. Do you want to start the story?
I want you because I'm not good with it was crazy. It was awesome. Well, I make events in Wilmington. I try to invite vendors, artists, just share their work. I mean, just have a good time.
Yeah. So the other day, both Angel and I were talking about being reborn, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a little bit later, but In 2020, at the end of 2020, I was in the hospital with. I had to have surgery on my leg. I caught COVID in the hospital. I was in the hospital for about a month. When I came out into 2021, I was a mess. I had long curly hair before I went into the hospital. When I came out, I had one big
You
dreadlock
turn
on the
into a
top of my
caveman,
head.
man.
Yeah, I looked like the Steel Pulse reggae album cover. I was a mess, and I was using a walker. And if Carla would leave me, alone in a parking lot or in front of a store, people would start offering me dollars because they thought I was homeless. They'd be like, "Here, you need a dollar, sir." And I'd be like, "Oh no, God bless you, but like I'm just waiting for my wife." I wasn't homeless. I might have been homeless at the moment,
Homie.
but not homeless. So people were really thinking that I was homeless, and uh, Angel had promoted this event. He's one of our kind of rising kind of promoters and
Yeah.
what we just learned the other
Underground
day,
shit.
kind of
Yeah.
event curators here in our community, putting on DIY punk rock and skate events. And when I first got out of the hospital, my mother was taking care of me on Saturdays. Like she would take me to do my errands and get stuff done because I couldn't drive. And my wife Carla teaches on Saturdays, so I saw the flyer for one of your shows that was at the Will Hall Park here. I was like, I just was captured by SkatanLives, and it had this
The
picture of a
legend.
goat head. It was like goat head and skateboards and all like the kind of DIY punk bands and stuff that we're
Yeah.
gonna play. And my mom's like, "What do you want to do today?" And instead of going to Costco to get glasses or whatever other kinds of
You're like, mommy, mommy.
errands I had to do, I was like, "Ma, you want to go to this event? You want to go to this like punk rock kids, like these punk rock kids from the hood are like doing this event at the park?" She's like, "Okay." So we went, and it was just as you could imagine. They're like kids jumping around in the skate park, and some other kids playing music, and it was all like, and
I
it
don't
was like,
promote violence, but
yeah,
I promote art.
yeah, the weed smell was like prolific through the park, and people were selling paintings and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, "Oh, mom, sorry I brought you here. It smells like weed." And she was all like, "Oh, don't worry, mijo. When I was a teenager, I used to come smoke weed in this park too." But I didn't get to meet you that day. I
Yeah,
just saw
I was
like
too
your
busy.
your
Yeah.
display. You had like a step and repeat, like kind of thing with the goat skulls and all this stuff, and I was like
Yeah.
photographs. Uh, but I did get to meet you at another one event that you did at Greenbelt Park,
Yeah.
and that's where I learned you were a photographer.
Yeah, I do a lot
How,
of things.
what kind of pictures are you taking?
I mean, I, I take digital, but I like taking out the color and just to like well, it looks better. Like that's how I started my photography at high school, in in my photography class. Mr. Vargas, shout out. That's where I learned everything. I had like that was like the only class that had like good grades. Like I got like, you know, like really good grade.
What was your grade?
Ah, it was too high. It was like 105%.
What?
So yeah, I was like literally in the dark room, just like developing, doing all that crap. But at that time, I didn't have the eye, so like my photos they look like shit.
What do you mean by eye?
The eye, as in like understanding the what I'm trying to take picture of. Like, getting the angles, the lighting. I wasn't there yet, but I was good with development.
Oh, so
So
you knew the process. You just weren't able. You didn't have the ojo de águila.
yeah, the third eye.
Yeah, the
Until
third
like
eye.
years after, I'm like, damn, I got it.
Yeah, yeah. What was the moment where you were like, I got the third eye?
I mean, that's around like 20, when I turned 22. That's where like shit went down, like personal problems. But it made me stronger. It made me like realize who I am, what I could do, and then started taking photos, started meeting people, and started like just create, enjoy.
So you're starting a little bit into like our next subject. I'm glad you started talking about that. Because one of the things that we also wanted to do in our introduction during this podcast is talk a little bit about our personal journeys, like how we got to where we are. And you were telling me the other day about some interesting stuff that happened to you when you were young, right? When you were like
Yeah,
14
yeah.
years
So
old. Can you tell us a little bit about that stuff?
yeah, like yeah, when I was like 14, I got hit by a car. I was in a coma for like 3 months, and then like 2 months in rehab. Uh, I mean, I just remember like little scenes, and like they were like really like I don't know. It's just it, not a good or bad memory, but it just made me who I am now, stronger. So, because in life you gotta learn how to suffer a little to really appreciate what you have.
So what were those memories? Those couple memories that you had when you were in a coma or coming out of healing
There's
from a coma? What do you
the
remember?
first scene when I was in the hospital. I was tied up, and the doctors, their faces were they were morphing into like evil, like you know, demons. And then the second, my mom giving me baby food. Seeing my this soccer coach and her daughter right next to me, they were just crying, and I was just smiling like, this is good. And then the third was in I was in a an ambulance. I thought I was going home, but they just took me to rehab. I'm
What?
like, what? I'm like, hold up.
Oh man, so they pulled
Yeah,
the
I was out.
switcheroo on you.
But yeah, like in the rehab was one of like my best. Like, I was struggling, but I enjoyed the process of getting back up, being able to walk, uh, talk, think. It took me all my teenage years just to be able to understand who I am. But
Like
I'm still growing. You know, it's like the brain is always evolving. It's creating the best version of yourself.
so, but you're saying to understand who you are, just remembering
Yeah,
who you were, right?
remember?
Like you were healing from like when
Yeah,
you got hit by that car and they send you to rehab. You're learning how to walk, how to talk, how to be back into get back into the
yeah,
world, right?
yep. I mean, there's no way like uh, life is always gonna test you. Like, do you really want what you think you want in life? It's gonna test you with obstacles, with struggles. You gotta overcome them.
So, what was your biggest want at 14 when you were in the rehab?
Was just trying to walk. That was like the first step. Walk. I had like no muscles. I had no coordination. Like my vision was horrible. But like every day, wake up early at 7, work out with the therapist, and yeah, like I would just get a walker and just try. And my mom would grab me from the back, and I'll push her away. Like, no, this is my struggle. This is my war. I said,
Yeah, it's funny because we were kind of doing these introductions, and at the age of 14, you were hit by a car and you were sent to a rehab. And when I was 14, I was also sent to a rehab, but not because I was hit by a car, it's because my mom found all my drugs. My mom found all my drugs and all my guns that my dumb ass at 14 didn't know how to hide too well. Like I thought they were hidden, but my mom found
you
them.
thought.
And my mom was like, "Hey, you can't have all these drugs." It's like, why do you have all these drugs? Are you doing all these drugs? And what I'm saying by drugs, that was like crack cocaine, right? I had like all this
Damn.
crack cocaine and pistols and guns in my house. And my mom was like, "What are you doing with all these guns and all these drugs? Are you doing all these drugs?" And I'm like, no, I'm not doing these drugs. I just want to buy new sneakers.
Those are
Like I was
sneakers,
such
bro.
a bad drug
Some
dealer.
sick
My
ass-
only goal, like you're saying, my war was to walk again. My war was this. I had this whole. My war was to buy new Nike Cortezes because I didn't like when they got a little scratch on them. I wanted to. I would go to the swap meet. I would buy the exact same pair of shoe
funny.
over and over, like every other month. And I had this big trash bag in. Besides my guns and my crack, I had this big trash bag full of blue Nike Cortezes that were only worn a couple of times. And I thought that I was cool and I just wanted to do what my older friends were doing. But my only real ambition was to buy new sneakers. I didn't have like a big plan or anything like that. So I guess my war was a little bit different. But I went to rehab, like,
Yeah.
because she didn't want that in her house. She kicked me out. I couldn't live other places. So I went back home. And she was like, the only condition on you coming back home to my house to live under my house is if you go to rehab. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went to rehab. I was 14 years old. I was like from the ninth. It was a summer between like it was just the beginning of 10th grade, so it was just after ninth grade. But that year for me at 14 was very difficult. My mother had divorced my father when I was 5, so I was still a young baby. But by the time I was 6 or 7, she remarried, and that my stepfather, whose name was Eddie Greenwood, rest in peace. He was my stepfather from the time I was about 6 or 7 to the time I was 14. Then my parent, then him and my mother got a divorce, and that was really difficult for me. But at the same time, that year, my best friend, my childhood best friend, he was 16. He shot and killed another teenager and was sentenced to a life prison sentence.
Damn.
And I just didn't know how to take it. It would
That's
take that
brutal.
because it was
Yeah.
just too much going on. So I spent more time like ditching school, being outside of school, not really in school. And I was selling drugs and had guns and thought I was a little gangster and
Damn.
all this.
Damn,
And
you're a baddie. You're a
yeah, I was a
baddie,
baddie, man. I
man.
thought that I didn't have no more supervision because my stepdad kind of used to be like the supervisor in the house.
Yeah.
And when he left, like I just went all out. And when my best friend went to prison, I just didn't know how to handle it. So I went to rehab too. And when I was in rehab, it was a little bit different because I wasn't learning how to walk literally, but I was learning how to live
Yeah.
because there were other kids in there that had all kinds of problems. They were either bulimic or anorexic, or they had just finished suicide attempts and they had all these problems, family problems, all kinds of stuff. And to be able to see them, and every day we would meet with them, and I had to meet with psychologists and counselors and stuff all day long. So in a way, they kind of helped me like to learn how to walk again and learn how to navigate again. So that's funny that you were in rehab at 14 for a
Yeah.
reason, and I was in rehab for another
Yeah,
reason at the
everyone
same
goes
age.
through something that changes their perspective in life, and it's important. It's very important. So,
Yeah, why do you think it's so important?
hey, cause once you understand like the other side in this reality, it's not just about being happy. You gotta know how to be sad. Like every emotions, like it is always like testing you in life. You gotta learn how to appreciate pretty much what you have, and which is your mind, your body, and your soul. Like three important to be able to make it.
So do you think so when you're in rehab, you think that whole situation when you've been hit by a car and healing that tested all those things, your mind, body, soul?
Yeah, but in a way, I didn't realize that until like now, cause there I was just like I wasn't dumb. I was numb. I couldn't even think. I was just like my body was alive, but like I had no thoughts, nothing to like
Yeah, because
live.
you hadn't
Live like,
healed all
yeah,
the way yet, right?
yeah. I was just like, okay, I'll do whatever you say.
Oh, so you're just like a baby clay, lump of clay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Um, so yeah, that's interesting. We were talking about that too, and also about I think that's interesting about like how you or a person develops an eye because you talked about the eye, the third eye. I call it the
Yeah.
ojo de águila, like the eagle eye. How did art start playing into that for you to develop a third eye, a sense of understanding like mind, body, spirit? How did art play into the factor for you to kind of to be either healing or growth or understanding? How did it help you? How did you get turned on to it? What is the story between your relationship and art?
Well, I mean, I first had to understand my emotions, how I think, my toxic traits. I gotta like learn all that, accept it and change it, which is like when I say like you versus you always. Like, you're always fighting your negative side with positivity, hope, faith. Like that's all you need to like become a better person. And from there, like I started like realizing that my emotions they're strong. Like I'm everywhere. I could get like super mad, super I'd sad and all that like, everywhere. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just start with art, like doing creating things. Like, I put all my emotions in my photos, my paintings, the people that when I talk to people, I talk with a passion. Like they don't even know. They just get like, if they understand, they'll flow with me. If not, they get lost and they're just like, okay.
Like give me an example of what you would talk to somebody about with the passion. Like
uh,
what
let's
things
see.
like with art related things would you be like fired up about to get people excited?
Like what I like doing when I try to talk to someone, I'll be like, for you, like, what does art mean, and who are you? Not talking about the material objects that you have, what you do with your life, like wh- what's waking you up in the morning. Do you have a goal, an idea of how to live life? Are you trying to achieve it, or like, well, I love going deep down, not just like those shallow conversations with like, oh, how's your day? Oh, that's good. Oh, blah 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 blah. Nah,
Oh, so you're nosy.
this guy.
So you get
Yeah, okay.
metiche. You have to get
But
metiche with people then.
it's important too. Like
You have to get a little bit metiche, which means nosy.
nosy.
For
Yeah.
those of you that don't know. So like instead of just being like, oh hi, oh it's good, you want to be like, oh cool, like why'd you choose those shoes? Why you wear those
Like
pants?
no, wait, no, wait,
Why do you walk
not
that
like
way?
that, not like
Why
that.
do you look like
Yeah,
you're dancing
like,
cumbia when you're
but
just
then,
walking down the street?
yeah, that's why people think that I don't like, I'm shy. Like no, like I just talk with purpose, cause like everything you do or say, like you're like manifesting with words and actions and
Okay.
how you think.
So what does that have to do with art?
Cause art, man, art
Art.
is awesome.
No, but what does that have to do with art? What? How does that help with art, or how does that get you inspired with
Well, it
art?
just levels my no balance out my emotions and when I think, because like everything I do is just like because something goes through my head like okay, and if not, like I see it like this. There's three of the worst external factors that can ruin the mind, which is like greed, which is like money, and then there's lust, sex, and there's drugs, like alcohol, like drinking, and all that nonsense. Like it just like once you're doing that, like you lose yourself, your whole purpose. That's why like I try not to drink, smoke, or like just indulge on things like as much, just to be able to be in control of me. Because your body is just a vessel. It's a tool to use in this realm.
Like
What do you
okay,
mean? Like
what you're
the
talking about?
action, the
What it
action of
sounds
art,
good. What it
creating
sounds
art.
good that, but that could be for anything. Like to
Well,
have
then
like a
yeah, like
peace of mind, to be of understanding, to be physically healthy. That could manifest itself in anything. But how for you did art somehow also factor into that
art,
equation?
like and like making like art,
Creating or
photos.
organizing,
Uh,
because I know when you organize your big events, like that's like I'd be like, yeah, that's your art.
oh yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even yeah no I don't even like thinking about it. I just like hit them up like, are you down? Let's get together. Boom. It's freedom for them. I don't want to like boss them around. Like yeah, go do what you gotta do.
But you create the space.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how does it feel like when you're creating the space for other people to have freedom, to have a space to express themselves, to how does it feel to be, or how do you even want to have that idea to make that space?
I just do it. I don't even think no more. I would just like do it. I mean, it's not like the oh like a. I know like I have a purpose, but like in life you gotta be like you gotta be raw. Like right, like there's always other things that like in a way is stopping you, like some like struggle that you're going through in the moment. But I know I still have to do it, no matter what. Like I just
So you got when you're saying raw,
like raw,
do
just
you
like
mean like kind of just be fearless about things and
yeah,
just
like I
go
know
for it without
it's
like
like in a way people love living in the comfort zone, and it's like an awesome quote. The comfort zone, that's where dreams and goals like go to die. That's where people get lazy. They stop pursuing their higher purpose, and you have to like get out of that comfort zone. But I mean, it's hard. It hurts. Life's gonna is gonna test you, but it's not gonna kill you. There's a purpose with everything.
can you give me an example of what a comfort zone has been for you and where you knew that you had to like step out of it?
Kissing ass to my family.
Kissing ass to your family,
Yeah,
that's a big one.
yeah
Yeah, yeah.
my stepmom. Well, everyone, yeah, like they're like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, just get a job. Like, well, screw that. Like, why are you even doing all that crap? You're not getting anything. I'm like, I don't know. I just like left the house. I'm like, screw that. I rather like focus on me, not on like someone else.
Yeah, so like following into the definition of like what your family's expectations are of you,
Yeah.
having the courage to kind of step out of
I
what
mean, I
those
love them, but like
expectations are?
their mindsets, it's way different from mine. It's like they don't wanna like get out of that cycle of ignorance. Because the mind is always trying to grow. Is always you gotta learn something somewhere.
So, what do you feel that they judge you, or
Yeah.
yeah? Because you
They,
sound pretty judgmental of them too.
hey man, hey,
So
I'll call them out too. I don't mind,
yeah,
but
so it's just better to just step out of that
yeah,
and get in alignment with people that are more. How
yeah.
have you found a circle of people that are? Because I'm sure people listening, like they hear that, I'm sure they're like, "Yeah, man,
They're like,
how do you
man,
do
who's
that?"
this
Or
guy?
they'll say, I think people will be like, "How do you have the courage? How does somebody get the courage to do that? Because it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do." But
It's
then, how
yeah.
have you
I doubted. You know,
created a circle that could support you? How
I
have you done
doubted
that?
myself so many times, and when I do, I fall. I stop caring. I lose my purpose, like my balance that I created in my head. I lose it all. Like it's just, but no, we have to get back up every single time. And every time I get back up, I get up stronger. Like like how I left a couple months ago. I disappeared for a couple months. I was lost. Like I literally like got lost, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But I had to crawl, get my ass up, like, and yeah, like
So when you disappeared, you mean from like social media
yeah,
and being public, right?
like trying to like talk to people or like interact with anyone. And yeah, it happens a lot because like my balance goes out of it, crazy, a little too crazy.
Out of alignment. I sometimes feel that too because I feel like sometimes I'll be like getting into one thing and then I kind of go to the extreme on that,
Yeah,
and then like I'm like, oh shit, I like touch the fence. I know where the boundary is on that, so I like have to like pull myself back and then I try something else, and then like either that works or it didn't work, and then I have to like figure out how to bring that back in. And I think a lot of people have that, like creative people, especially like because I think we're more risk takers. Like I think for somehow or other, if you're a creative person, you also have like a little bit more of a risk taking gene than regular.
yeah.
Not I don't want to say regular people, but other types of people.
I love like living in the edge, cause that's where you gotta fight. You gotta be a fighter. Like if not, then you'll die. You'll lose yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I see it.
So, but also with being a fighter, you got to know that there's moments like you're saying that you have to like retreat and heal and get back on track and put things into perspective of yourself. And that's funny because we're here on in the Slanguage studio, and this street is called Avalon. But do you know where Avalon comes from in literature?
Nope.
So Avalon in literature is King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table is a very famous stories of the knights of medieval time, and Avalon was the name of the place that King Arthur would retreat to after battles to heal.
Oh
So
shit.
that's where the name comes from, Avalon.
Avalon.
So like we're here on Avalon, and this language has always kind of been on Avalon for a couple of reasons. One is because it kind of divides the east side and west side of here of Wilmington, and there's a lot of kind of controversy and a lot of violence that happens between the two sides. But Avalon has kind of been a respite and a kind of a healing place because it's in the middle, right? And I think it's also been a kind of healing place for myself and Carla and the rest of a lot of the other artists that come and work with us, because it provides a safe space for us to kind of retreat into, have conversations like this, express ourselves, and have that space where you were saying you didn't necessarily get to have primarily with your family because you felt like, oh man, I'm always having to kiss ass. They're part of this status
Yeah.
quo culture that isn't necessarily
Screw
my
that.
vision or part of what I want to do. And then, so I think the studio for us has been a place for that to happen. But like getting there to Beverly Hills to Rodeo Drive, you pass by a lot of mansions, right? And I was thinking like, dang man, these people must have a like they think when you think about rich people or getting wealth, like in terms of economic wealth, you think of like, oh man, I'm not gonna have no problems. But I was looking at their houses, and I was like, damn, these people have to pay a lot of money to all the people that have to take
Exactly.
care of their houses. They have to
Exactly.
pay the gardeners, the maids, the nannies, all these different
Yeah.
people.
Imagine how
And I was
stressed
like,
out they
damn,
are.
these people must have RPP. You know what
What's
RPP is?
that? What?
Rich people problems. I was like, damn, I have PPP. You know what PPP is? Poor people problems. Everybody can be having problems. It's just different types of problems and what types of bills you have. Like, I don't think like an economics will save you from anything, but I think it is part of what I've been calling my wealth wheel. Like, it's not the first thing. Like, at first I used to say when I would pray or meditate, I'm like, oh God, oh universe, like help me with my wealth wheel. And I was like, well, what would that be? And first with wealth, I would stick in economics, right? Economic capital. But now like that's gone down to like 4 or 5. Like number one is like attitude. Like if I on my wealth wheel, attitude is one of the most important things. Like it is the most important thing. That's the first thing on my wealth wheel. Like if I don't have a positive, good attitude into going into the day and all the stuff I have to deal with, there's a problem. Gratitude is second. Gratitude is me being able to be thankful for the things I have, be thankful for the awesome people around me, be thankful that I have the things I have, and be grateful. You know, like dang,
Blessed.
the people have I'm blessed exactly. And then my reputation, like my reputation is really important. Like if people don't respect me or people don't think that
Watch out,
man,
because he's a baddie.
I'm solid. You know, I'm solid.
He's a
I'm,
baddie.
I'm solid, right? Your
Yeah.
reputation is important. If you don't have a solid reputation, you know, if people are like, oh yeah, don't mess with that person. Like they're not gonna do what they say they do, right? Their word exactly. So then after that is economics. So there's like the fourth or fifth thing that is down on my list.
Don't
like,
forget your health too.
I pray for that first, but that's not on my wealth wheel. That's on my health wheel. Health wheel, and that's a whole other. That's the first thing I pray for. My health, which is my mental health, physical health, my spiritual health, my emotional health, my sexual health. Like there could be a whole line, a whole line of health, right? But that's what I pray for first. But I'm talking about with my wealth, that economics is like fourth or fifth on the wheel when I'm talking about wealth, especially with artists, because a lot of times artists don't necessarily have an economic, are not always in the best economic position. But if we're in a spirit of gratitude, good attitude, our reputation is good, our economics can be worked on. We have social capital, we have cultural capital, we have what was learned newer to me is navigational capital, which is kind of like the plug, right? Like how are we getting to do this podcast today is because awesome Santos and be here were my interns in the past, and they're awesome, and they got all this awesome equipment, and that's navigational capital that like we could just plug into folks that could help us. So navigational capital is kind of like the plug. Like in the hood we call it the plug, right? Who got the plug for this? Who got the plug for that? And I think it's important to be able to plug in. That's kind of if you're navigational capital. And you have to do this a lot. I see you do this a lot when you're organizing your events. You're kind of plugging in with all the different people that could do different things, either the bands or the vendors or the artist or whatever, whoever could do the different things that event is going to need. It's important that your reputation is in good standing, your attitude is in good standing, your gratitude is good standing. Yeah, because our people won't show up.
It is true.
They won't show up or they won't be down. So, but the economics part is important, and I think it's something like if you didn't grow up like learning about in your house or whatever. And then also I think it's also funny because I don't know how we get to this, but somehow in kind of like working class culture, I don't know how we get to this. Somehow or other we get soured to a like economics as only being like evil, which I don't think it has to be. Like maybe we're taking things sometimes to too much of an extreme. Like there's always a medium ground. It's not always black and white. There's gray areas. And I think having like some kind of understanding of economics, because we don't get taught about economics in school. Like they teach you math, but they don't teach you like, okay, you should be investing in stuff so you can get some money back. They don't teach you how to like save your money. They don't teach you how you should be spending your money. We don't get that.
But then in a way, like that's how the system works. Like it just wants to make you part of the system to like be part of like the all that.
Yeah, but I think that's
working for money and like.
I think it's important. I think it's important that we have more of like a healthy, what I'm saying, wealth wheel.
Yeah.
Like we could, because if we don't have money in the bank so far, we know we got social capital, and like the homie, like the other day you brought us a tray of buffalo wings, right? Like that was social capital. Like I didn't pay. Like you're the homie. The homies come through and take care of each other. Like, you make a homie, not break a homie. You know what I'm saying? Like take care of each other. I think that's important. But yeah, that's a we've been going through a lot of different things. We went through you know what you do, your introduction, my introduction, went through like how art has really affected us to kind of go forward as part of like what our kind of part of our goals and aspirations, not only for ourselves but for our community. And I know community has a big part in like what you do.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, about the community. Well, I know like yeah, people want change in communities, but they're not willing to look for the answer inside them. So, and yeah, like using art and music and uniting the youth, the all the artists, like I'm letting the community know like, hey, we have that, we have art, because that what it is, it's freedom. It lets people express themselves without having to like go get lost in, you know how they say, in the sauce, and like drinking and like partying and like those short term pleasures. And yeah, it's like that's why it's like for me important to do what I do. Like even though I'm not getting money off of it, like hey, I don't give a shit about the money. My this vessel is gonna decay one day, but my idea is gonna live forever. That's my purpose. Be able to live, skating lives.
Skaten lives. Yeah, so that's gonna kind of we're wrapping up now. So can you plug what you're gonna be doing next, skating?
uh, I'm doing a couple of events. For November 6th, I'm doing a food drive, like toys, clothing for the community, the kids, and uh, uh, workshops with like art, music, and arts and craft for so like teach people how to like about art and all that fun stuff. It's gonna be in Avalon. Well, what's that little park right there by the Dawn? That is gonna be right there.
The
That
Wilmington Town Square,
yeah,
also known as Wino Park.
the wine park. And then on December 10th, I'm doing an art gallery in a tunnel in Wilmington, like going to Harbor College. It's gonna be pretty epic. It's gonna be fun. Just like share my work. I've been painting a lot, doing a lot of poetry. Like I want to share it to you guys. It'll be fun.
Yeah, because sharing is caring, right?
Hmm.
So you're gonna do two things: November 6th, toy drive, fun, food drive, etc.
Yes,
at
sir.
Wilmington Town Square,
Mm.
and then at the tunnels under the 110 freeway going to Harbor College on December what again?
10th.
December 10th. So be checking out those things. Follow
Uh,
skaten.lives on Instagram. What is your website again?
yeah, it's kind of long. I don't remember it,
All right.
but yeah,
But, but,
I'll share later
but
on.
go to his Instagram
I'm
and
working
find the
on it. Yeah,
links.
it's in my Instagram, the bio. Just check out my work. If you wanna like collaborate, email me. You could do some crazy shit. Enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and for me, Slanguage Studio will be having its 20th anniversary exhibition in October. I believe it opens October 22nd, 2022, up at Angels Gate Cultural Center. Angel and I were there yesterday, kind of checking it out, trying to get some kind of perspective on how to hang up the exhibition. Shout out to our curators, Gloria and Jinx, and our public programming folks, which is Liz and Betty. Also, we're going to be on August, um, this month, I'm sorry, September 3rd, an exhibition that I am in called Undoing Time will be opening at the Berkeley Art Museum in Berkeley, California. We have a couple other things on the itinerary for kind of shows and things like that. So be checking my IG, which is Mario underscore Ybarra underscore JR. And always check out Slanguage Studio's IG. I don't have, we're in the process of building my website. That's been taking a little bit longer than I thought. But it's like 20 some odd years of work that we're trying to compile for the website. Tomorrow I have a meeting or two to hopefully get that rolling along. Um, but yeah, what else is going on? Carla also has a couple of exhibitions happening. Be checking out her website, which is Carla Diaz Artist or Art. Find her, Carla B Diaz, I think, and she's going to be doing some things up in the Bay Area, and some things down here in Los Angeles. You got any last words to say, uh, Mr. Skaten Lives?
Shout out to everyone, all the artists, vendors, musicians that I've met in my life. You guys are awesome. Everyone's different.
Everyone's different. That's true. That's probably one of the best things that I've learned about being an artist. People ask me, like, if the economics aren't right and all this other stuff aren't right about being an artist, why do you do it? And it usually is
It's a burning passion,
all,
man, right here.
but it's also like all the awesome people that you meet,
Yep.
the other artists and the other musicians and the other folks that you get to meet, because um, you get to talk to them and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how did you get into that? Why are you doing that? Why in the world would you spend your time doing that? And it's always a learning experience, etc. But again, I'm Mario Ybarra Jr. I'm here with Angel Skaten Lives Muro. We're here in Slanguage Studio on Avalon, the Warriors Retreat, where we heal. Peace.
Man.